a dog dropped dead and lay alongside the road. By the time Jesus, Son of Mary, happened upon the carcass, it was already emitting a bad stench. Death showed the prominence of its white teeth. Jesus said to his companion, "Look at that. That is God's own." He saw neither the rot nor did he smell the stench, whereas others saw only ugliness. He saw in it beauty. I got a picture in there of a dead guy outside Basra, al-Basra, we called it, because that's what it was named before United States media got a hold of it and fixed it to make it easier on us dumbass, ugly Americans. See? Whereas Jesus saw the beauty, only ugliness was cast upon others. It's about how you see things, I guess. This man in his military uniform of fighting age, I was coming upon him, and I could see him up there. What caught my attention first, it was like a sheet or like a sheer curtain that goes behind your drapes. It was like that. It was hooked on his toe and blowing in the wind away from him. And he was just lying there. And I'm coming up on him, and I thought, is this fucker screwing with me? You know, that's one of my first questions always to people. Are you screwing with me? If I don't quite get what they're saying, because if they don't understand what they're saying, how the hell am I supposed to? You have to figure things out on your own sometimes. As I walked upon this guy, I saw no sign of wounds. I saw no cause of death. He was just lying there, and his eyes were closed, and his teeth were showing. As I came up on him, got close, normally you can see when somebody's dead by the way their body's positioned. This guy just looked like he was taking a nap in the afternoon. And I got up close to him, and I saw his white teeth. I read this story. Metal Ghost sent me this story. I haven't gotten through it all yet, but I got to that part with the white teeth and the corpse and Jesus, and it takes me back. Seeing how white his teeth were, I think it was like looking at a skull with skin, because evidently we've got enough saliva and everything to keep our teeth from showing that white. Or that was a wealthy man who got pushed into war, who had a good dentist, had his veneers. It was pure white, but it's death. And I was stunned by that. Made me happy reading this story. Makes me think of another one that I had in an Asian literature class I once had. There was a story written by a guy from the Indian subcontinent. He talked about a street sweeper, the untouchable woman. This kid was born into street sweeping in the caste system, and he came too close to some woman, and she was yelling, "Street sweeper! Street sweeper!" She was screaming at him. Everybody yelled at him. He was always treated like shit as he was cleaning up their shit. But then there was one day he walked out into a field, and he just lied down under the sun. And it was just so perfect. It touched him the same way it touched everyone else. And the line that guy wrote was, "We are all the same under the sun." And when I think of that dog its carcass lying there. And Jesus saying, it's God's own. It goes to God. It took me to that, we're all the same under the sun. And it took me to that Iraqi who just seemed to have decided he'd had enough on lying down and dying. It was almost like he chose to. No signs of any wounds on the guy. And he had started out with a sheet over him, which was just stuck, hooked around his toe, blowing in the wind now. But I looked at him, and I think he's gone home to his God. He no longer has to suffer the guilt for the lies that he's lived with in the name of God. Now, as we all should, he is happy and understanding that if there is a God, now, without some divine intervention or some lying schizophrenic, some lying politician that wants a Christian nationalist vote, without having to depend on them at all, if there is a God, he now gets to ask for himself.